here we go. So we're going to do this foldable today. So I have already pre-cut the pieces. I cut the solving one-step equations, and then I cut the rest of it. I went ahead and cut it down to a smaller size and then put a cut right here on the dotted lines. So if you can do that for me and pause the video while we're waiting. Okay, so saying now that you should have cut all of these pieces, I want you to, on your white sheet of notebook paper, I want you to go ahead and glue this little piece down to the top. And then I want you to glue this other sheet right here, you know, and then like my little girl, she does a lot of dots, but you know, 4 or 5 dots is a lot. That's what they used to say in elementary where I was from. So 4 or 5 dots is a lot. So I want it to look kind of like this. Now I didn't copy the back side, so we're going to go ahead and write on the back side while it's closed. So on this tab right here, I want you to write addition. Let me see if I can get this pen going. There we go. Okay. And then on the second tab right here, I want you to write subtraction. And you can pause the video as needed just to catch up and get your stuff done. Okay, so right here on this third one, I want you to write multiplication. And then the last one you're going to write is division. Okay, so we should have 4 tabs right here: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so we're going to go through the notes, and I want you to just stop when you need to catch up and just push pause, and you can catch up whenever you're ready. Okay, so looking at the first tab, we're going to open it. So I want you to say inverse operation. So the inverse operation of addition is subtraction. So if you're adding something, the opposite is to subtract something. So in our one-step equations, if we do addition, x plus 4 equals 7. We're trying to solve for our x. So we're saying what plus 4 is 7? Well, we're going to do that by working backwards. And I know that we can clearly see that it's 3, but I want you to start this tradition right here. So, or start these little steps to put them in place. So the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. So what do we do to one side? We must do to the other, because that's how equations work. What you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the second side of the equal sign. So that's going to cancel that. Leave me on this side x. 7 minus 4 is 3. And we drop down our equal sign. So our answer is x equals 3. Okay, so the opposite of addition is subtraction. So what else we should say is the opposite of subtraction is, its inverse is addition. So same thing, solving for this side. Instead of subtracting, and this is a negative 2, which is the same thing as subtracting, we're going to do the inverse relationship. Okay? So the inverse relationship of negative 2 or minus 2 is plus 2. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to say x is equal to 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, so x is equal to 14. Okay, so we've done addition and subtraction. So let's move on to multiplication and division. So the inverse operation of multiplication is division. Okay, so right here we have 24 equals negative 8x. So negative 8 and x are multiplying. When a letter and a number are next to each other, that means multiplication. Okay, so we have this happening here. So we're trying to solve for x. So the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide this side by -8. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So that cancels it. -8 divided by -8 cancels it to 1. We're left with x. 24 divided by -8 is -3. So our answer is x equals -3. Okay, our last one is division. Okay, so the opposite operation for division, this inverse operation is multiplication. So I'm going to write multiply. Okay, so what's happening here is saying x divided by 6 is 5. Okay, so how do we work backwards to solve for x? We're going to draw our line. Okay, so what I do to one side, I must do the other. Well, it's dividing by 6, so the opposite would be to multiply by 6. So that cancels this side. 5 times 6 is 30. So can I check it? I need to go back and check all these here in a minute. So my answer here is x is 30. So let's start back at the top and look through. So if we plugged back in our answer here, we would say we got x is 3. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 equals 7. That's true. So I'm going to show you my check. Okay. So let's see if it worked for subtraction, just to go back and check all of it. If I do -2 plus 14, does that equal 12? Well, -2 plus 14 is 12. 12 equals 12. And that checks out. Okay, multiplication. I got -3. Well, 24 equals -8 times -3. -8 times -3 is positive 24. 24 equals 24. And then my last one was division. And I'm going to go and check it just to make sure it worked out. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 5 equals 5, and that checks out. So that should be all of your stuff filled in. We're going to put this section in our notes page. So I want you to star right up here, and I want you to put inverse operations. What does inverse operations mean to you? It means we're going to do it by the opposite sign of what it is. So add, subtract, multiply, divide, divide, multiply, subtract, or add.